I came over here on a whim, so I'm glad I came. I looked up and I saw where there was this open mic. But I swear technology just makes me so nervous. Like, I parked, I got a decent spot like out front, like past the mall. But like as I got out my car, and I'm usually one for taking all my worldly possessions, my devices, but I got out and I ran in here, but there was a couple standing by their car and their back passenger window had been busted out. And so then I was sitting there like, fuck, maybe I should go anyway. So I am a teacher by trade, comedian by believing is what we'll call it, and we believe. But y'all, like today, as a 57-year-old teacher, I was explaining call waiting to fourth grade, right? One of the students was sad because she said her mother was going to be traveling for 3 days and would be away in Florida. And I said, oh, was this the first time you and your mother have been apart? And she said, yes. I said, you'll be fine. I said, because not only do you have phones, but you guys will never know a time when you couldn't talk to somebody. You will never know a time when you couldn't see them on the phone. You are of an age that you don't know anything about. I said, have you guys heard of a busy signal? A resounding from was like 7th, 5th graders. No, they don't know. You know, so I had to explain. I said there was a time when people would call you and the call would not go through because you were on the phone. And by the way, phones were only in your house. The only people who had pagers or cell phones were potentially FBI and doctors. And even in the 70s, there was technology for cell phones, but it was a brick. I pointed I said, there's a standing shelf. I said, the phone was probably as big as this whole shelf right here. But it's just interesting how you spend your days trying to make your way in comedy and the things that you do for money. Do you know what I'm saying? Teaching is one. And so I explain that to them. You guys, up at this age, I tell people if you are not over 50, in the words of the great Kamala Harris, don't come. Don't come. Like, stay down there is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I'm trying to take St. John's wort to help my memory, but I can't remember to take the herb so that it can help my memory, is what I'm saying. Stay down there. Do not come. Do not come. I'm saying that black may not crack, but it grays. And it grays up top, and it grays everywhere else. I'm saying that at this age, like, I have hair now is described, especially as black women, we describe it in terms of letter and in terms of curl pattern. So, and here's the thing, these kids may never know, they may never hear the word nappy. I teach in Inglewood, and all my students are African American, and so, you know, everybody's got their hair, even in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, some hair has been purchased. Like, you can look at me, I'm two-tone right now. This is purchased, and this 4C fuzzy part is mine. And 4C describes the deepest curl pattern. And if I was in the 70s, it means the nappiest hair, is what it means. And these kids will never know a time where we said the word nappy, hopefully, you know? And I think that's funny. Like, I'm like, what else can we dispense with? Like I guess, you know, to the silent generation, I'll know TV, where my dad's generation, you know, grew up on radio before there was TV, you know what I'm saying? But my dad, of course, he's 91, he's still living. Of course, he's seen TV and cable and all its iterations in his lifetime. And I imagine that too, like, I'm trying to find jokes, so thank you guys for bearing with me. Like, what is it to live a life of seeing all these format changes? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta figure out what those jokes are, and we're trying. Man, speaking of that, I have a 5th grade student who I tutor. So I teach and I tutor, and we had a bank of problems, and the final destination was like the red Snoopy house. And I said, oh, that looks like Snoopy's dog house. My student looked at me and said, who is Snoopy? No. Yes. And these are her TV oldies, right? She would not know Snoopy or the Peanuts gang in real time. We get it, right? But what was funny to me, I said, you've never heard of the Peanuts gang? She said no. And so I pulled it up on my phone, like you do, because you can in these modern times. And she said, oh, I've seen that. They're weird, she said to me. I said, they're weird? And then she says, Miss Dana, Snoopy is not for everyone. Right? But what? I feel like just the way that it was even language by a fifth grader, right? That it's not for everyone. We've never spoken like that before. I think that these are the best of times and the worst of times. The best of times because we have words like social emotional learning. The worst of times because we have behaviors that represent social emotional learning. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm trying to work that joke out too. So I'm not as a teacher and as someone who loves progress. Like, I tell people I love progress and democracy down to my soul. I'm African American. I've been so all my life. You know what I'm saying? Nothing has changed. So I have seen us through quite a few things. The things that we thought would be better have taken a long time to get better. There's no jokes. I'm trying to find them. There are some jokes. I shouldn't say there are no jokes. There are. We just got to find them. What else did I want to talk about? My phone is over there. Oh, I farted on kids today. Yesterday. And it was a light one. Like it you couldn't hear it. It was light. Like I feel like I was holding whatever I thought might happen, and I think I bumped a kid and then it happened, but it wasn't loud smelling, and I have a very serious olfactory. When you have children, it's a couple things they tell you. Your olfactory changes, your hearing changes, but what they don't tell you is that it won't go back. Like my son is 23 and I can still smell barbecue in Memphis from California because that's one of the big changes, that you can smell everything. And so if it had smelled, if what do they say, the first one dealt it is the first one to smell it, or the one that dealt it is that's the thing. So it's like you can never say, ooh, who farted? If you smell it first, it's you. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't smell it. I will say this though, I farted on a tutoring student, not on. Let me be fair. We were talking and it just came out, and it had a little sound. Didn't have a big smell, thank God. Thank goodness for odorless gas. Thank goodness for the periodic table. I don't know, periodic tables make me feel safe. I don't know how to explain that, but they do. But in that moment, I was so embarrassed in front of my tutoring kid. I think I was talking so loud, she didn't really hear it. And then I didn't want to give myself away. But what it made me think about is the time that my dad farted in front of me and my twin sister when we were children. We were so fucking rude. Dad, aren't you gonna say excuse me? You know, and I look back now, and all we are as grown-ups is our parents. You know what I'm saying? That's all we are. And I just want to apologize to my dad because we were so rude. Well, aren't you gonna say excuse me, Dad? But now I was so embarrassed. I was so glad that little girl did not hear me fart. I was just hot all over. I did not want to do, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I can't face you, but I gotta face you because I gotta tutor you for the next hour. So I'm just saying I am my parents now. I think that's what we're saying. Is that my time?
Yeah.
All right, I'm Dana Kill. That was my time. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. Now I'm nervous. Let me go check on my laptop and my iPad. Love you so much for the time. All right. Peace. Woo, this is cool. I hope this is good.
Decent. No, it's good.